What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rawstocks. This is Rustic. Today we're going to be taking a look at Tesla's chart. We're going to look at some other charts. We're going to look at where price came from last week, where price ended on Friday, and where price is likely to head tomorrow and into the rest of the week. Before we get started, don't forget to check out the link in the description below where you can check out the Rawstocks website, find out more information on the Discord. Right now we're running a 1 month free promo that's going to end in just a couple days. If you want to check out premium, that's where we provide the call outs, we provide trading education, private chat, and a whole lot more for a low cost of $25 a month normally. But like I said, we got a 1 month free promo that ends at the on Wednesday. So check us out. Again, the link's in the description below. Back off of vacation, haven't come out with a video in a couple weeks, so here we are, and let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. We got Tesla pulled up, and I got the weekly chart pulled up. So what we want to notice on the weekly chart is that we have the RSI coming down, but we're still above the 50. We're still above the moving average. Right? We're also coming down into a fair value gap on a weekly chart, right? So we popped up, we set that fair value gap. Now we're drawing back into it. We're above all the moving averages, so we're still bullish. Right? We're just coming down to run a test on the moving averages. We're running a test on this weekly fair value gap. We came down to the consequent encroachment of that fair value gap, that 50% level of that fair value gap on the weekly chart. And the yellow lines here are a breaker block that is acting as a mitigation block currently. Now, if we give up that mitigation block, we still have the fair value gap low boundary, which comes in at 203.55. If we give that up, we have the 200 period moving average at 198 currently. Might come up a little bit as we start the week next week, but that's kind of our lowest level. We give that up. We do technically still have a rising channel support trend line that next week would put us in at a potential low of 192.75 if it was to give all of that back and test that channel support line. Totally possible. Not expecting us to come any lower than 203.55. Or at least not a weekly close below 203.55, and that would basically be running a full test on all these moving averages as well on the weekly chart. And if we held above that, we definitely could see that move back up towards 300 in the coming weeks. Other things that we got on this chart, again, we had that kind of doji candle 2 weeks ago, and then we had the earnings come out last week that ultimately gave us the sell-off that we'll look at on a lower time frame. But that's our key levels for the weekly chart. If we drop down to the daily chart shows that large gap down from the earnings, right? We're below the 20 period on the daily chart. We have some daily fair value gaps. We're inside right now, inside the first one. We have another one right below that. All of those fair value gaps still put us inside of that weekly fair value gap. And you can see back up here, I was calling, before I went on vacation, I was calling for us to top. I saw us push into this order block 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, and then come back for it on a 9th day while setting lower highs, right? In that order block, that was telling me that smart money is looking to, either be closing out their positions or taking short positions as we're looking for price to come lower. Now, I know a lot of the bulls were very bullish, thinking we were heading right to 300, but all of this rejection inside this daily order block, and that order block comes all the way back from December 28th, 2023. That was telling me we're not going higher right now. Sure enough, earnings came out. We consolidated a little bit. Earnings came out. We dumped down. Right now we're seeing where we're going to find our support. I don't think we're coming all the way back down to these 190s, to 170s level where we saw so much consolidation. I think we're just dropping down into these high time frame points of interest like that weekly fair value gap or that weekly mitigation block. Right? And I think we're going to find our support there. I think we're going to make that punch up to 300. Now, I could be wrong. We did see a lot of unusual gamma activity at the 300 level, but that was prior to earnings. Some of it has dissipated and gamma has gone down, but I still think we're going to be making that push up here soon. We might find ourselves consolidating in this like 110 to 130, 140 range, maybe back and forth a little bit. And see if we can build momentum to make that move up, or we might just slingshot and make that move up. I don't think we're going to completely flush down, but if we do, we got our weekly time frame and our daily time frame moving averages and our channel support level to know if we're going to break down from what has been this bullish move up. Now, if we drop to the 1 hour chart, that's the last one I'm going to look at on today's analysis. But you can see right here, Back at the new week opening gap, we also have a large fair value gap, and that 1 hour fair value gap is a bearish fair value gap, and it comes in at 238.50 all the way up to 246.22. So that's my target. We do have a smaller bearish fair value gap that we would target first, right? And then the bigger one, but I think we're going to target that, and that could be as early as this week. I think we might pop up to that. We could see selling from there. We could see us continue to rally up from there. We'll see if we got any order blocks. You can see if we zoom out, we do have that order block back in the 180s. I don't think we're going to push down there, but if we did, I think it would be a false breakdown of that channel support line, hit that order block, and then push up from there. Okay, we are starting to show some strength on the 1 hour chart. We have a moving average that's pointed up now. We're right around the 50. We're back above, or right at the 20 period moving average. So if we can get above that, make a push on the 50, we can make a push on the 200 to the 234, 230 to 240 range, right? Then I said we got that fair value gap in this new week opening gap that I think we'll target, right? So I think we are going to kind of make this push up early into next week, but we could get kind of a false breakdown Monday, Tuesday, and then push up from there. So we'll just have to continue to watch and see what happens, but this is a key area where I think that, it's good to be potentially starting to build a long position if you're a shareholder, right? It could be, I called out for the Discord members around 215 would be that first target to start, adding to long positions if you were looking to build, if you took profit back up here in the 250s, 260s, or even, as much as, what was the high, 271. So if you took profit up here and you're looking to add to your positions, 215 would have been a great start to do that. And then our next key level down, when you're building positions like that, you're just looking for long-term support areas. So next area down would be around like the 200 to 190 area would be another area to add. And then if we drop down all the way into like the 170, 180, you could look to add there. And then ultimately, don't think it's going to happen. But if we got down to like 140, that'd be another position area where you might look to add to build a long-term shareholding position, or potentially taking leaps if you're trading options. So that's what I got for Tesla. We'll jump over to QQQ. QQQ has looked pretty weak. I think tech in general is going to be a weak sector for earnings this quarter, but we'll have to just wait and see. On the daily chart, we got a bearish fair value gap, right? That bearish fair value gap was between July 23rd and July 25th. I think we're going to push up into that a little bit further, maybe to 475. And then I think we're going to see a dump down to 446, potentially even 432, right? We have some different standard deviations levels here. If we gave up the 200 period on the daily chart, we'd be looking at 417 and then 402. And this all can happen definitely very rapidly if tech earnings continue to come in as disappointments and misses. And like I said, I think the tech sector in general is weak, but I also think we've seen just such a tremendous rally here on QQQ over the last year that we're just getting some cool off. It seems aggressive, but it's just a correction as far as right now goes, right? And so we could be watching for something like this to happen. Okay, this is all basically one wave. We're at the 100 period moving average here. We could see a pop up and then come down to test that 200 period. And at that point in time, we could see price continue to rally, or we could see price just continue to dump down below the 200 period. 200 period on a daily chart is going to be pretty strong. So I think regardless, we'll see a pop if we get down to 430, but definitely looking for something like this to play out. So if you see us move back up into this bearish fair value gap, that's a great low risk entry to go short in. Jump over to Nvidia. Nvidia, we did see, kind of a pop on Friday, but then it sold down, right? We're below some high time frame moving averages, the 20 period, the 50 period. We've rejected the 20 periods coming down. We've come back down and basically tested the 100 period on the daily chart. I do have some fib levels here as we saw that, that drop and then that pop back up to optimal trade entry. That was our great short entry point. Called it out in the Discord, got a nice, dump down, and then we've continued to sell down from there. Now, do we find the support here on the 100 period moving average on the daily chart? Right around that 103.71 level is a fib extension, right? We came down, we didn't get quite to it, but we came down pretty close, and we've seen a little bit of a pop. Okay, RSI does not look like it's in our favor, but it does look like we could see a move back up into the 120s, right? We're going to test on that 20 period again. This could be correction done, Want to point that out. We got a ABC pattern here, right? Elliott wave, you can't necessarily trade it. It's just a good gauge. We could see this turn into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of pattern. So instead of a corrective move, it could start 1, 2, 3, pop up again, and then get one more dump down. If that was a 5-wave move, that could start a bigger bearish move on Nvidia over the next 6 months. Because if that was the case, and we did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, then we would probably see ABC move back up, and then we'd see further selling from there, where we might get another 5-wave move down. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Nvidia has been a very strong stock, but right now it's in a corrective pattern. If we got down to 94, 96, and even lower down to the order block at 88, that'd be a huge buying opportunity. That's where I would be looking to build long-term positions between the $100 price point and $88. When we're looking at SPY, we got a similar look on QQQ. We've just kind of seen this sell-off. We got, kind of a return to the bearish fair value gap here. If we popped up a little higher, I'd like to see consequent encroachment hit of that 550.43, and then come down and see if we can test that 100 period at 527.74, and even lower, we got 503.84. So be looking for short opportunities on the Qs and on SPY as we continue to correct. We did take the sell side liquidity here. We had a change of character, which is why I think we see this pop up into this fair value gap, right? Just a little bit deeper. And then I think we're going to come down and try to target sell side liquidity down here at 518, 16 or something along those lines. There's an order block in here you could target if we didn't, hit that level to the exact. And then we got some additional sell side liquidity coming in lower here as well. 499.40, 493.95. And both of those would be below the 200 period moving average. So I don't know that I'd be shooting for those necessarily, but if we continue to sell down, I would be looking for that 518.16. I'm going to jump over to HIMS. HIMS has been one that I took some leaps on, or took some long-term contracts on, called out for the premium section of the Discord, targeting $50 on this. We have a giant cup and handle, if you see, right? We got a cup. We have kind of a handle forming. Could go a little bit deeper, right? We did see this bottom pop back up, come back down to consequent encroachment. Now we're getting fib extensions, right? We have some different extensions levels here that have already hit. Already hit the 4th standard deviation off the bottom, right? 5 standard deviations would be $30.53. 6 standard deviations at $35.18. Ultimately, target is $49.17, and that's based on the cup and handle, measuring the low up to the high and taking that same measurement from the high and extending it out. We get $49.17. So that's my ultimate target. I do think that we got earnings coming up, and earnings are estimated to be on August 5th. So that's just right around the corner. We could really see HIMS take off. And for those of you who inverse Kramer said not to buy HIMS a couple weeks ago. So let's see, when he was saying don't buy HIMS 2 weeks ago, that was basically coming off of this low as we started to pop up. Right, we saw a little bit of a sell-off. Now we pop back up. So again, HIMS I think is a great long-term opportunity, and I would be long all the way to 49.17. Could take the next 6 months to get there. We'll just have to wait and see what earnings shows us, and earnings definitely could cause us to pop hard. Lastly, I want to show you on HIMS that we had a nice fair value gap here that was formed from last Monday to last Wednesday. Now we've drawn back down to that fair value gap. We're above all the moving averages on the daily chart. So we're bullish until we give up any of those moving averages. Then we could start to look for us to run a test on some of these lower targets. If we do that, I will be adding to my long-term HIMS position. We'll jump over to Microsoft. Microsoft was a long opportunity that we took on the Discord. We played it out for a little bit, had some nice profits, ran it up to target. Target was right here at 462.23. We overshot the target, saw a little bit of minor consolidation at the top, and have since sold off. Looking for that to come down, take this sell side liquidity at 404.37, run a test on the 200 period. If we drop below that, we'll be targeting 388.15. Okay, and then below that, we could be looking to target this consolidation range back here all the way down to 365. I don't think we're going to get there. I think we got earnings coming up on the 30th, which is this Tuesday. And so I'm going to be looking to see if we come down and run a test on this 200 period before then. RSI doesn't look great. I would like to see this thing bottom out before earnings. So we're going to react after earnings happens and see what happens. If earnings comes in positive and it shoots up, you can start taking long positions and target the buy side liquidity at 468. The last thing we're going to look at today is the daily chart of Google. Google has also been selling off, had a negative reaction to earnings, left a nice gap below the moving averages. Now we got a bearish fair value gap that was formed on Friday. Okay, looking for us to pop up potentially to 170, right? As deep as 170, 169. And if we do pop up there, that's a low risk short opportunity to try to target this 200 period at 156.27. Also a gap fill that has not been filled yet. And so looking for that potential opportunity there. And then you got sell side liquidity all the way down at 150.76. So definitely looks like an opportunity to get short on Google as we look for this RSI in the daily chart to bottom out and show us some kind of sign that Google is going to take off. If you look at the daily chart, again, over the last year, we've seen a phenomenal rise all the way from $90 to $190. So over a year, $100 rise on Google would totally be normal to see us come down and test this 200 period. You can see once we got over it, we came down and tested it once. We came down and tested it twice. Over the last, quarter, we've seen a nice rise out of Google. Come back down and test that 200 period again, right? Or even get down to that sell side liquidity of 150.85. Great long opportunity to try to target previous highs at 191 or even target 200. You can see Google has been a nice performing stock. As you can see, we've had these rises. We had this nice move, right? Came down, right? And then now we've seen that pop back up. We were looking at taking some fib levels from this low to high. We could also look for the correction to the 62% to the 70.5%, which would be optimal trade entry. I'm going to go ahead and put a rectangle there just so we know where our golden zone is so that we can be watching that for that later. Okay, we got our golden fib level there. That'd be well below the 200 period. So again, your first potential entry could be at the 200 period if you were looking to go long, or you could look to see if we get the full retracement back down. This could take, this could take the next quarter or two to get there. So we'll just see if Google continues to want to sell off down to, its fib levels. There's some kind of long-term support in this area as well. But we have lots of different support zones with Google. And so definitely some different opportunities to play Google depending on what you like. So hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. I'm glad to be back from my vacation and bring you guys some more videos and content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Discord's growing rapidly. We're almost at 400 members, almost at 100 premium members. So again, don't forget to check out the link in the description below. Currently offering 1 month free for the next 3 days. Join the Discord as a free member. The promo code is on the Discord. And we're also running a t-shirt giveaway over the next 3 days. And so if you jump on the membership, check it out, participate in the giveaway and maybe get yourself a Rawstocks t-shirt. All right. Well, take care. Good luck on your trading tomorrow, and we'll see you guys on the next one.